Hello, everyone. It's me, Coffee Stitcher. It is Sunday. How's everybody's week? Awesome. That's really, really good to hear. Um, the um, um, okay. Sorry, getting my comments all ready to go. It is Sunday. Of course, we've got our Q&A. We've got a little bit of a different kind of haul this week, but I think you'll all be as excited as I was if you haven't seen it already. Um, and whip updates as well as homework for next week. I do want to take a quick moment to shout out specifically a couple of people for what all they've been accomplishing on social media and a little bit in general, but for their response to the Black Lives Matter movement. So some of them you're probably going to recognize already. Getting that pulled up. If everything will load. Andrea Reed deserves a lot for being as vocal and doing as much as she has. But, of course, Bendy Stitchy. Michelle has been doing a lot. Trisha from 3 Owl Threads has been doing a lot. The Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery did a beautiful newsletter. And the other one I wanted to shout out was Thread Sewer, because I think she was the first one that said, you know what, whatever I make sale-wise is going to go straight to Black Lives Matter. And hers was specifically the Canadian. She's a Canadian designer. So I highly applaud them. If you're looking for groups to support, definitely, and all three of them are on Etsy. Obviously, the Frosted Pumpkin has their own. And I bought a couple of really fun patterns as a result. So we're doing a little bit of early haul. The first one was Thread Sewer's Baba Yaga sampler, which is super cool. And I do love me some Baba Yaga. You're Okay, I Guess, from Bendy Stitches. And Moral Compass, which was purchased before J.K. Rowling got so turfy. So now I'm conflicted on it. But here's Moral Compass. And it says, easy, right, soon we must choose. Based on the quote that I believe it's Dumbledore says that soon we'll have to choose between what is easy and what is right. Which is what we're doing right now. Haha, thematic. And if you're looking for, I haven't really been able to determine if there are any black designers, but Fortnite Fabrics is a hand dyer. They're both black and gay, so it's Black Lives Matter and Pride Month. So if you're looking for someone to support with some money in terms of crafting goods, definitely hit Fortnite Fabrics. And they do have a website now. It's fortnitefabrics.com. I did buy their desert collection. I told them to just ship it when they ship my fabric of the month, so it'll be here probably soon-ish. Yeah. So, anyhow. Again, to everyone, keep fighting the good fight. This was an exhausting week. I can only imagine if I'm this exhausted after 1 week. Just how awful it actually must be to have to deal with it on a daily basis, when they shouldn't have to deal with it no one should have to deal with it on a daily basis. It's 2020, for God's sakes. So again, I reiterate, Black Lives Matter. If you don't agree with me, unsubscribe. My opinions aren't changing. Because they aren't opinions, they're facts. And it's going to be nice to be on the right side of history. So, with that said, let's launch into the Q&A. Jennifer Rohr says, I'm needing help finding a color that I have for a pattern that calls for DMC 774, but I'm not able to find it in a store or online. Do you know what color it is supposed to be so I can find an alternative? There is a fabulous tool out there, done by Threadbare, and it's thread-bear.com. And if you go under their tools and calculators, they have an option to find the closest DMC thread color. And you can look it up. It does have the new ones. And in this case, 774. I'm not even really sure what color that's supposed to be myself. I think it's a pale green, if it's the color I'm thinking of, but that could be a different thing. Well, 772 is what I was thinking. Of course, the webpage is not wanting to work for me right now. But it's on thread-bear, and that's hyphen, and it's bear, B-A-R-E, not B-E-A-R. But I would definitely try them. They're a really, really, really good tool. Sarah Webb asks, have you ever done a tour of your bookshelf? I'm always nosy about other people's bookshelves. Well, this is actually not my primary bookshelf. My primary ones are out there. But, since you sort of asked, so we've got the white edition Oz books in softback, that's the full set. The white edition Oz books in hardback, and it's not the complete set. I'm halfway. And there are two different versions of Wizard. That's its own story. My Mina Lima books, Secret Garden would be there. Go there. Up here are my Riley and Lee pop art editions of the Oz books. That's what I've been referring to them as. And I've got about half of those as well. Children's classics, primarily British. That's a lot of what this bookcase is. Because I've got my Winnie the Pooh Omnibus and its most recent sequel, the Mary Poppins books. Then the Canadian white edition Oz books. I don't have all of them. I'm close. I know they didn't do Wizard, and I don't think they did, Emerald City. But I think they did all the others. Wizard is definitely missing from the group. It was not done. I'm not sure about the others, though. My Narnia books, my Series of Unfortunate Events, and then the Mysterious Benedict Society. And that's that bookshelf for you. I also have 2 library binding editions of the white editions in hardback. I've got Wizard and Land. I don't know if they did the others in that or not, but yeah. Thanks for the tips from everyone about Cosmo being in quilting shops. I actually have quilting shops in my area, so when COVID is officially kind of done and dusted, I may have to venture out and see what I can find. Nancy Call asks, do you have a favorite needle minder? And I do. I'm not sure which project it's currently on, but my friend Kate from No Name Needle Minders made a special needle minder out of the picture of me with Carol Channing. So that one there. And that one's my favorite because it's, well, A, because it's me, and B, because it's me and Carol Channing. So there's really nothing greater than that. Sara Grenier asks, is it the size 25 floss? It didn't say on there, but it is just like regular DMC, divisible in 6 strands. I know when the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery started, a lot of their stuff was charted for DMC and Cosmo. I don't know if they're still doing it. I've not actually paid that much attention to my patterns. Let's see what they say. Let's look at Zodiac, since that's really their most recent one. Yep, and they still chart with Cosmo. So, I definitely want to try it. Probably on one of theirs, since I've got the Cosmo conversion built right in. Hilda Johnson asks, does your brother cross-stitch? I do have a brother. I don't know if I've ever really talked about him. But no, he does not. He's much more analytical. So he does more things like woodworking, and stuff like that. Amanda3589 asks, what is your favorite Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery pattern? And ooh, that's a tough one. I did really love Storytime Classics. I loved Jack's Halloween Dream. I'm absolutely in love with Chinese Zodiac. National Parks was a lot of fun. I really like their Sleepy Hollow. I like a lot of their patterns. I guess I'm going to go with Storytime Classics being my favorite simply because it has the Wizard of Oz in it. That went too far. The Colorful Colourists has a couple of questions. Her first one is, what gave you your love for all things Oz? Truth be told, I'm not entirely sure. I know Mom rented the movie as a way to distract me from The Little Mermaid. So this is like 1989, 1990. And so she rented that as a distraction, and I just absolutely fell in love and became obsessed. And it just sort of grew from there. I was an avid reader as a child, so I'm sure that contributed to the fact that there were tons of books that I could read. As well as books about the movie, like the making thereof. So I'm sure that really contributed a large part of it. Her next question is, do I do much stitching on Ada? It seems to be a fairly even mix these days. I went away from Ada for a long time. Because I'd gotten a couple of Picture This Plus Adas, and they're so soft, and I kept splitting the threads, and it just frustrated me. Then I came back to it when I pulled the Leslie Tier Oz out last year and started working on that again. And I went, oh my god, I love Ada again. So now it's a fairly even mix. And then our next question, are you going to do any more of the Ori Quakers? Yes, I plan to. I definitely want to do Alice. I definitely want to do Neverland. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to do Nutcracker. I'll be very curious to see what fairy tale is next. Come on. Woo, woo. Keeps going too fast. Let's see. Lois Hogue did say that Long Dog Samplers does sell her designs as a PDF. I'm guessing probably on her website. So, all right. So moving right along from the Q&A, let's talk about haul. So this is not your standard haul selection from me. As I think I'd mentioned, I sent a bunch of my stuff to my friend Oliver, who works at Fire Poppies, to finish things for me. So I got the first wave back. So first, and these are all blasts from the past, especially the next two. This one I finished not long after I started dating G, so a little over 5 years ago, because it was a real quick stitch. It's from For My Boys, and it was Bless Us Each and Every One. And here it is. And he finished it as a little pillow. It's so cute. So he did a really, really good job. And I could, I believe, hang it very, very carefully. Like this, or it'll just be a pillow. But it's going to go to mi madre. Alright, then the next one, we're going to go in Age of Completion. This one was one that I started in the first Mania. It's a freebie from Snowflower Diaries. I think it was called Ghost Girl. And there were some flowers that I left out of it. But here it is. He finished it as a flat fold. Look at that really cool fabric. Like, I love that fabric. And cute little spider charm. And it's a nice little flat fold, so it stands up well. As memory serves, the windows in the house are glow-in-the-dark. And then I used metallic blending filament to make her sparkle. So, I remember she was a pain and a half. And then last, this was like my third ever finish. It was a Homespun Elegance ornament that was Ding Dong, the Witch is Dead. And I did it all in one sitting in one day. The big change, of course, was I made the slippers ruby. And it looks like he actually used some red metallic étoile for this. So this is going to get hung up somewhere. So they turned out super fabulous, and I can't wait to see what else he's going to do. And honestly, beyond, I know he got Three Musketeers and Jack's Halloween Dream. I don't know what all I sent to him. So it's kind of a fun surprise to see what I'm getting back, because I don't know. No clue. Alright. So that was this week's little bit of haul. Alright, so let's talk about homework. The work of the home. Saved. Okay, so the first thing was to stitch on a project that you wished for and received. So I worked on quilts. That's not quilts. Where's quilts? Literally just saw it. There we go. We had to do 300 stitches. So again, here's the full pattern. I'm working in this area. And I'm almost to a page finish. And I've decided, since these houses were split in half by where the page divides, I'm going to come down and work on these just to make sure there's no accidental, like, obvious line. Boop. So here's where I am. I got the start of the willow tree. I got a good portion of the side of the house done, and obviously the ground under it done. So that's what I achieved. All right. Then the next task was to turn back time and stitch on something from a previous villains book. So I worked on one from March where I had to stitch on something based on a book. And I'm going to be working on this one again after the video today. So I worked on Literary Alice from Bendy Stitchy. And I got the flowers all done. One thing I did, a couple of small tweaks I did. I went ahead and made these all white, and then I used red Krynic to backstitch around it because I wanted to give it that painting the roses red effect. And then for the backstitching on the flowers, I used the same red Krynic. So I'm going to finish up the leaves today, for sure, and then I'm going to try and tackle the top and bottom border. So that's going to be today's. I'm not working on Secret Garden, you ask. We'll come back to that. Flop you up there. Okay. Ah. All right. So then I had to stitch on a piece that had a border. And it's supposed to be 200 stitches. And I actually did just about 200. I did 235. So I worked on Strawberry Fields, made good progress on getting the house filled in, and I also got the bird done. I was working on this one on Wednesday, and I was just exhausted, so I was literally struggling with just about every stitch. So, but the birdie is done, and I got a good chunk of the house done. And then the last but not least was to stitch on a project that has horns. So I worked on, because I wanted to get part 2 of Chinese Zodiac done, since part 3 comes out tomorrow. And I did. There's a couple of blank spots that you'll notice if you're familiar with the pattern. In the fan and on the lantern, I'm going to be doing beads there. So those will stay blank until all is said and done. That said, if, as I go through, if it turns out there's not really a place to add beads in the rest of the pattern, then I'll just go back and fill in. But here it is. So this is on Alba White Truffle from Fortnite. So I'm enjoying this one a lot. And this one will get finished as a pillow, I've already decided. This is one of the few pieces I've ever done where I'm just like, yeah, this needs to be a pillow. Alright. As y'all know, last Sunday, part 2 of Secret Garden came out. So I'll show you what I got done on it. But because I'm using it for homework this week, I will not be working on it today. But I'll explain that shortly. So here is part 2. I got everything above the title done. So there's the robin and his flower. I used Gentle Arts for his. I used Gentle Arts Copper for his red breast. So I'm very pleased with how he turned out. We've got more flowers coming. So, like I said, that will be in this week's homework. This week's homework, one of the tasks is to work on a project that has on something secret that you're working on in secret or has a secret. Secret's right there in the title. And we've got to do 400 stitches. So I'll definitely finish part 2 out. And then if I've got any left over next Sunday when part 3 comes out, I'll work on that. So the first thing we'll do is stitch on something majestic. So I'm going to be working on Adventure Awaits, because there's a couple of castles, and really what's more majestic than a map of our world. So, oop. So here's the map. So I'm working on, my goal is to finish Africa, and then whatever goes beyond that we'll work on. But I have a feeling that's going to probably be about 400 stitches. I could be wrong, though. And then the last one is to stitch 200 on something you've had to fudge around. And that's going to be every season, because boy have I had to do some fudging. So, there we go. So we'll work on summer next, which I'm super excited to get back into this one. So that will be the homework for this week. And then my plan will be to finish the extra credit on this coming Saturday. I spent yesterday working on Chinese zodiacs. I need to get it done. So we'll work on Quaker Oz this week, and see just how far we get. So, yep. So anyhow, that's it for me today. I hope everyone has a good week. Keep up the good work, everyone. And I will see y'all next time.